Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and today, I don't know, for some reason for this project, I just felt, I guess the word is nostalgic. I wanted to go back in time. So I dug through my Scrappy Tales collections because those are where the pop-ups are, and I believe this is like one of the first ones that Sabrina came out with. And it's the A7 decorative pop-up box craft die. Now, I continued to dig, so we're going to make a couple Halloween and a couple Christmas. So I'm going to be using the Halloween Essentials, the Haunted Halloween Night, the North Pole Bears, the Layering Snowman Duo with the Christmas tree, her wonderful assorted Christmas sleeves, layering poinsettias, and I'm even going to pull in the snowflake spinner add-on for those globe, for the A7 globe that she created. And I'm just using bits and pieces. So I encourage you to go back into your stash, dig into it, and let's dust some things off. I had a really good time with this. You know, getting the dust off of these and just pulling from different dies. So no matter what dies you have, you can mix and match. You can blend them together. You could have a bow in one die set and a Christmas tree in another die set, and a snowman in another die set, or different flowers going across 5 different die sets. Make them all work together. That's the beauty of dies. You just need cardstock. And how do we make them all fit together? By using the same color cardstock or the same color theme. As I said, we're going to make 3 of the box pop-ups. Now, these will fold down. They will fit in a 5x7 envelope. Except maybe the Halloween. The Halloween may be too high. But I'm really looking at these as like, I think this die works awesome as a little tiny centerpiece or a place setting for your table when it comes to the holidays. I think you could also create a bottom for this box, and for like the Halloween you could fill little tiny treats in there. You know, not put the bridges across, of course, but just have fun with it, because that's what I like to do, to take a die and just turn it into something else. It doesn't just have to be that pop-up. But these are those types of cards that when somebody does receive it, it's something that's going to sit on their mantle or their table. We have a craft base, a white base, and a black base. Of course, the craft and the white are going to be for the Christmas, and the black is going to be for the Halloween. For each box, you want to die cut 2 of the panels, and you're just going to line up the tabs on each side. When I do this, you can see I like to flatten it out, get the 2 sides attached, use my paper creaser to push that down, and then just fold it back and forth upon itself. When you do this, you just want to make sure that your glue is adhered, or your double-sided tape that you are using. Once you have the boxes together and we've got everything scored and bent and ready to go, we're going to start putting our bridges in. The box die does come with this bridge, of course, and I'm just folding down the 2 sides along the score lines that are within the die, and I'm going to be adding some double-sided tape along with some glue. Now I'm going to work on my panels. So you can see with these 3 pieces, or 3 centerpieces that we're making, I'm kind of doing them in a production style. So I did all of the boxes, got those all set up, put together. Now I'm going to work on the panels. And I'm using pattern paper that Sabrina has designed as well. Some of it's coming from her retro Christmas collection. Some of it's coming from her Christmas party collection. And then the Halloween is coming from her Halloween paper pad. So I apologize, I did not show you them. Now, the pop-up box die comes with just a simple square and a rectangle. The rectangles go to the bottom of the box, and then the squares go along the top. Just remember to have I find it easier if I have the box folded the way that it should, so that I put my papers the right way. If you're using a directional pattern paper, you want to make sure you're going in the right direction. When it comes to using pattern papers on mirror, you can tell I'm using an iridescent mirror cardstock. I will add a little bit of double-sided tape with glue so that it won't slide around on the mirror cardstock, and I don't have to wait until it dries. I'm impatient, very impatient. Be the first one to tell you. Yep. And then what I'm doing is once I have the panel onto the mirror cardstock, then I'm just cutting around it. I'm just eyeballing a border that goes around that, and then I'll be able to place that onto the square sections along the top or the rectangles down at the bottom. When it comes to my mirror cardstock or any specialty, I keep any and all scraps. It's when I break down, because you know, if you've been here before, when I've talked about scraps and the scraps that I've kept, I will keep all of my scraps as long as they don't get smaller than a 2" by 2" square for cardstock. When they get smaller than that, I do begrudgingly, I usually will not keep those. I usually end up keeping them, but 9 out of, there's times where I don't. But for my mirror, I do, even when there's strips, and you'll see some of the strips like these here, because I'll use those as backer for sentiments, as shadows and so forth. So my specialty papers, yes, because I love specialty papers. So I don't want anyone to think that I am wasting paper. Just say. For the Halloween one, I'm going to toggle between orange, lime green, and purple for the backings. And I'm just making sure that there's some type of way that these are going to lay. Now, the only mistake that I made was I wasn't watching the purple and the green. What I wanted to do and what I should have done was had a green and a purple for the rectangles on one card, or put them on one and then bring in the purple so that it would go green, purple, around the box. But that's okay. It's all good. It's still actually worked out. I just don't have the every other one. So just know that, okay, this is going to go here if you wanted to plan it out better than what I did. But I do like the way that it looked. The bats are going to go around the bottom, and the white with the black spiders is going to go around the top. I wanted something bright along the top for the Halloween one, mainly because I'm going to have a black haunted house. I'm going to have a dark tree. I'm going to have some bats, and I did those in gray actually, so that they would stand out just a little bit more. Again, just adding a very small border. It's like 1/8 of an inch going around. I'm using my long shears to do that cut in one swipe, which helps to give me, to at least keep a somewhat straight line. I'm not worried about if I don't. You could also put those through your paper trimmer, measure them, and then have that cut that way. I did not measure them. For the craft one, I'm going to be using the same pattern paper on both the bottom and the top, like I did with the white box. But the top is going to be bordered with gold mirrored cardstock, and the bottom is going to be layered with green mirror paper. And I'm just going to go around each of these corners here, again, using the double-sided tape along with glue to make sure that they stay in place and they don't shift. When I come up with these ideas and working on these types of projects, working in a production style works for me. Even if it's just one piece. If you all remember, I worked on a lantern, a Halloween lantern. And again, even though it was just one lantern that I did it in a production style. I did all of the die cutting first. So I mapped that out. Get those pieces die cut. I put them in little tiny plastic containers to keep them all together. Then once that's done, then I start building. I start building the base first, get that set aside like I did here with the boxes. Then I go back to all of the pieces to layer those up, get those ready, have those laying out, and then I start to build and create the layers. I am one to die cut more than what I might need. So if I'm using, you'll see for the craft box, that's going to be all poinsettias. I die cut a bunch of poinsettias because I wasn't sure how many that I would need. If there's any left, they go into my die cut box with all of those pieces because I'll use those to build other cards and to make scenes with those. So you kind of, I mean, when we create a card, we are kind of doing it in a production style. It all depends on how much we're doing with that card. So here we've got the panels with the green mirror cardstock. We're going to put those down along the bottom. The cardstock that I used for the box is a heavy weight. It's a 110-pound cardstock. It's the Recollections by Michaels. I think the craft is heavier. I think it's a 120-pound because it feels heavier than the black and the white. And that's 110-pound as well. Any other cardstock that I would use when I'm adding to the 3D cards, they're not going to be heavyweight. They are going to be a lighter weight, especially these, because these images are going to pop. They're going to pop off of the center of the card. So now that all the panels were done, now I'm just moving back across to all three boxes, and we're going to set up the panels in place. Again, starting at the bottom and then working to the top. And again, remembering one of your tabs is going to be facing up when it's opened. So again, just keeping an eye on the direction of your pattern paper. So you can see these, they're still sitting up because they are going to be flapped down when the box is open. It's this last panel that we want to make sure that they're facing up, or else they would be upside down, which we would just continue. Absolutely. We would absolutely continue putting the card together. And now finally, our Halloween. We're going to put our panels here. Oh, I thought I put all of it. See, made a boo-boo. Thought I put all the bats along the bottom. I did not. So we have a bat, a spider, a bat, a spider. It was the purple and the green that I did not go every other one, which is fine. I've got two spiders that are going to go right across from each other. and then the bats are going to go side by side. But you can see that when the flap's down for the spiders, it's over the black bats, and when the black bats are down along the box, it's over the white spiders. So, yeah. Yep. So those are our boxes. Let's get our bridges in. I am going to use double-sided tape along with glue. Adding glue with your double-sided tape gives you some wiggle room. It'll allow it to just swoosh around in there just a little bit until that double-sided tape finally grabs on. So for all the pieces, I'm going to get that tape on there, and then we're going to start removing the release paper and start putting our bridges in. So what I like to do is get both of the papers off and the glue, fold one side in, keep the other side flat, and then push on each side, and then push down on the box. Get the box flat, because then that will get the post in place where it needs to go. You just want to make sure that you pinch as you're getting that one side in. So have your one side set. So for me, I'm a right hand, so I'm making sure my left side is set in the box, and then just make sure the other tab goes along where it's going to connect. And when you close it flat, it'll keep it even inside your box. I do not know if I'm explaining this correctly, but you can see one side gets seated in, and then I close down on the box and then move it back and forth to make sure those bridges aren't going a little wonky. So pinching one side, pushing it along the side of the box to make sure that's in place, and then closing the box down. So the other piece is almost flat, or the other side, the right side of the bridge. So pushing that in and then closing down. And now we have one bridge giving me a problem. There we go. All right, now we have all of our boxes set and ready to go. So now we're just going to do a little bit of layering. So you can see from each of the pieces. So for the white one, I'm using the Christmas tree from the Layering Snowmen, and I'm using the North Pole sign from the North Pole Bear collection. The snowflakes are coming from the spinner because I just thought they were beautiful snowflakes to have fun with. For the tree, I just needed to add a gold star. And for the pole sign, that's the one that had the most layering. So I'm just creating those layers. Now I'm going to create the candy stripe pole and get those pieces in place as well. And I just think it's adorable how cute these pieces come together. Now you could add ink to your die cuts and just have all kinds of fun. Now we're just going to get our piece set. Wasn't quite sure where the tree was going to sit, so I cut one side of it thinking that it was going to go along the other side. Here I'm like, nope, need to go to the other side, so I had to trim that side. And you're not going to see it because I cover it up with snowflakes. But to just look to say, okay, the pole's going to the left with the sign, so put the tree to the left so that it's not completely covered. You know, look at your pieces that you're putting in when it comes to a pop-up like this, and try to stay within the confines, that area of the box. Because remember, when this flattens, it's going to fit in a 5x7 envelope. So you don't want to go too far up above that flap that's sitting up, and you don't want it to come out to the side. Now, you can on one side, because when you close it, the pieces will go over that. So just keep taking your piece once in a while and closing it and saying, yep, we're good, we're good. because you all know me. I like to add lots. I just keep adding things. Yes, I like that. I like doing that. Just having fun with the snowflakes, putting them even around the bottom flaps. Our next one, we're going to work on the poinsettias. So I used a satin red mirror cardstock and then a dark red to go on top. I just die cut a couple of the pine leaves from the assorted collection for Christmas. And then I chose a dark and a darker green for the leaves for the poinsettias to just have them be able to pop off of that red pattern paper that I chose. These are just 2 layering die cuts. What's great with these for the base, have fun ink smushing, have fun using pattern papers. That's what's great with these. You could do paper inlay if you wanted to when it comes to this. Again, to me, die cutting's like a puzzle to put all the pieces together. No, it's not for everyone, but it does do beautiful work when it comes to it being completed. And you can make it as basic, and when I say basic, what I'm doing here, just use plain cardstock. If you have some mirror, you can add that to add some shimmer. But if you didn't, 2 different colored of red cardstock is perfect for this. If you don't have 2 different color of reds and you've got Sharpie markers, choose a light red, choose a darker red, and color your white cardstock and layer that up. We can always adapt and use what we have and have fun creating and getting so very different looks, and they're all beautiful. So have fun. You know, take that collection that we have grown and developed and mix and match it. It all works beautifully together. Now, yes, I chose to go with the same company. You don't have to. You can pull in other companies. You can mix and match all the brands, because that's the beauty of what we all do here with paper. They all work together, and that's great. To me, that's wonderful. I'm going to be pulling in some clear strips. These are acetate strips. They're very thick. I will link them down below if I remember what they are. Sabrina got me hooked on them. And yep, I cannot remember for the life of me. Hopefully I'll be able to find them and be able to link them for you if you wanted to check them out. They are fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Super strong, but they wiggle just a little bit. But they're not like our typical acetate that we use for shakers. That's very lightweight. These are strong and sturdy. This is like plastic. But use your packaging. That's exactly the weight of this. So if you've got clear packaging, a thick plastic, use that. It's perfect for this. But the clear acetate for shakers, it's very lightweight. So it will cause these to bend. There is some weight to these once we get all the layers together. So I am just mixing and matching the leaves and the poinsettias, getting them set up. I'm creating like a tier that's starting in the back and coming towards the front. Going to add a few of the pine needles to the back, and I'm taking that one large one that I die cut and I'm using it a couple times. I'm just clipping it, just using sections of it for the piece. You can see I keep closing it once in a while just to see where everything is. I am using some double-sided foam tape or double-sided foam squares for this one, just to give a little bit of dimension. But these are very These are low-rise double-sided foam squares. If I want them to be thicker, I will just add 2 layers to them. All right, for our last one, the Halloween. This was like a day where I just wanted to not think. I can't explain it. Just wanted to not think. Just go back and dig through the stash. And I just started coming across pieces and just having fun choosing all of the different things. And to me, this box, it's a classic. It's an absolute classic. And I do believe it was one of her first. This one, and then she did a slimline one, I think, were one of the first ones. So I added some satin gold cardstock to the back of the house at the windows. I'm going to add a couple trees, one to the back and one to the front. We're going to add some pumpkins. Now, I totally forgot before I put them in here that I needed to color the tops. So I'm going to real quick grab a green alcohol marker and just real quick cover or color the top. One of the pumpkins I'm going to put on the acrylic sticks, have that sticking out to the side, make it look like it's floating. And then again, we're putting the third one down onto the bottom flap, and here's where I'm adding that green. So again, if you've got markers, Sharpies, you know, you can get one of those packs of all of the different colors of Sharpies. They're alcohol markers. They blend a little differently, but they are alcohol markers. So you can do the same thing. Just get white cardstock and have fun coloring it to get all of your colors. Go around the sides to make sure that you don't see the white, but just have some fun with your colors. Love these ghosts, so I'm adding those. Gonna have one coming off to the side here on one of those acrylic strips. I'm going to pull another one to come from behind the house. And remember, nobody's going to see the back, so you don't have to worry about the back. And when you have those bridges in, remember your hand can come up from the bottom so that you can hold your pieces in place. But you just want to pinch it. You can see I did the bats in gray, just like the pattern paper. Wanted them to kind of be in the area, but not totally visible. And I'm actually attaching them onto the ghosts that are already up in the air. And here you go. Here are our pieces. The Halloween is my favorite, even though I do love the Christmas ones, but I do love Halloween. Here's our snowman one with the North Pole and our tree in the back, and I attached some snowflakes to that as well. We've got our ghosts coming out and our pumpkins all around the haunted house, and then we have our tier steps for our poinsettias. So thank you so much for being with me on this nostalgia day. You know, go back to the beginning, go back to a time to just have some fun things. Let's dust them off, give them some more love, show them new life. That's always fun to do. Make sure you subscribe, hit that thumbs up, ring the bell. Love to have you here, but most of all, enjoy the art that you are creating and have fun. And take a day to just dig through your stash, remember what you have in there, and just have a play. That's the best part of what we do. But always remember what's most important. Always be creative in everything that you do every day. Stay safe, take care, and I'll talk to everyone in the next one.